for May. As of right now, I'm hoping to do another open house mid-April and officially open the garden in the beginning of May. Almost every day that I'm down there, I'm getting someone coming in and inquiring for next year. So I'm getting hopeful we will have another successful year next year. Hope the meeting goes well. Miss seeing everyone. Yes, I will. So that was her wrap-up. I'd say that was a pretty well done community garden this year. That was really neat. All right.
She get in? Yeah, there she is. Sorry, we're good. Didn't to scare you.
All right. Fairy garden. Susan.
Sue and I went over and did like an end of the season cleanup over there and cut back what we could and got it pretty well in shape for the so that it'll go till spring. The only thing we didn't do that we would have liked to do is lift the irises so that they'll bloom next year and like replant them, but we didn't get around to that. So that, you know, it's done for the season. There is the water over there, and we had asked for help in keeping it watered. Even when you get a rain like this, you know, it's under that tree and it doesn't get anything. A lot of things were starting to die, so, but it looks decent. And as with the Tomato Festival, how I resigned, I'm also resigning from the fairy garden, turning it over to anybody younger that wants to take care of that. So. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you for all the time and effort you've put into it. All right, those were the only committees that asked for time. Is there anything else?
On a new note, are you at that point yet?
Sure.
I had a problem with a dogwood tree that I had just planted. My husband girdled it with the weed whacker, and that's a sure kill for a young tree. And so I emailed Mira and asked her, was there anything I could do to save this tree? And she said she would come over and do surgery on it. And so she did yesterday. And she showed me, you know, what she did and all. We're not certain that it's going to take because it's so close to fall now that things don't grow as well this time of year, but you know, it's worth a try with that. But she said if next spring, if you want to have a class on that, she'd be more than willing to have a class on, you know, something like that and other problems that you have with trees, because what she did now in the fall would be different than what she would have done had it been in the springtime. It's altogether different technique. So who's ever taking care of the education, she'll have a class for that.
Sounds good.
All right. Other random stuff. I brought a bunch of zinnia heads that you feel they're the large zinnias, and some other seeds. And then there are also some of the Tomato Festival seeds here that are marked. So I'll bring them tonight. I'll bring them next time. Help yourselves. All right. We'll move on to Eva.
And take this off so you can hear me a little bit better. A few things to discuss. I sent out an email last week about anyone who wanted retirement status, and a few of you did email me back. I did bring that with me this evening if you wanted to read a little more in detail about what each of those different statuses are. I'll find the right page. There's a few different ones here. So there is a chance there's an inactive status for a medical reason. If you'd like to leave, you have up to 3 years to become active again. There's the semi-retired status, which you have to have a minimum of 10 years of service to Master Gardeners, and then you have to still maintain 6 hours of education per year. From what I can read, this still gives you voting rights. You're still welcome to come volunteer. You're still covered under the Master Gardeners. It's just that at this point you have served enough that you're more of an advisor kind of role as opposed to in some things. And again, it's inactive but unable to fulfill volunteer service requirements due to diminished physical capabilities is how it's stated. And then there's the emeritus status, which is what Jean Dawson went straight for. So again, you have to have a minimum of 10 years of service. You can still use the title of Extension Master Gardener. However, you do not have volunteer privileges anymore. So therefore, that means you're not covered under WVU's insurance should you come and volunteer at an event. You're on your own. And then you do not have voting privileges any longer within the Master Gardeners either. So basically you can come participate in the fun stuff, great for advice and that type of thing, but you are not required to do hours of any sort at that point in time. Emeritus. So if any of you are considering that, please let me know. We can do it. It's pretty painless. I just need something in writing. You can type it up and email it to me. You can send me an email on a clean thread, and that it doesn't matter. I just need something in writing so that I can sign off on it and stick it in your file. Well, Meadow can stick it in your file. So, but something I know a few of you have considered it. I know a few of you have mentioned it to me. I just wanted to make sure you were clear. And it was, you probably somewhere have a copy of that last policy statement and guidelines. It's in there. So if you're looking for details or want more information about it, that's where you can find it. And I believe it's on the Master Gardener, the WVU Master Gardener thing. If you look up the policy statement and guidelines, it's in there somewhere, one of the links. The other thing is Teams. Liz came to my office, about a month ago or so. Painless?
Yes,
So
she was great.
please, 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 the end of October, we're done. The thing's going away. I'm tired of having to add 12 people every time I send out an ESL, and that's when I remember to add them. And I feel bad when I don't, but I can't keep up with it all the time. So we are switching to Teams. Susan used it in depth with the Tomato Festival this year. It was great. We had our database of vendors and stuff on there, so she could go in and change what she needed to. I could see it and then do what I needed to do with it. Those types of things are available. We can archive all of our minutes. We can archive all of our treasurer's reports, the agendas. Everything can just go in there and we can save it. Tony and I have been working in there on a few different things as far as education goes. It's nice to be in there. It's not difficult. I sent you the link. Watch the link. If you already have a Microsoft account, make sure you know what your email address is that you used for that Microsoft account, and make sure that you know what that password is. And if not, get those reset. If you'd like to try it on your own, go for it, but please email me, or don't email me, call the office, and one of us will get you signed in, because I have to go in and delete you, which is a process to figure out how to delete you and then get you out and send you a new invitation. So that's why I'm not just sending it out as a blanket. Email me, or don't email me, call the office. I keep saying that. Call the office and we will get you set up. We can send it. That way I know I'm at my computer and you're at your computer when I send it. And then if you need any help talking through it as we go. So before the end of October for sure, I suggest you do it sooner. All right. So I told you all to save November 9th. And this is why. So I'll give you those to pass out. And I will give you these to pass out. So this has been a discussion amongst the executive board for a couple of months, a little longer than others. So I'm going to start out by reading this, the West Virginia, as part of the policy and guidelines for the Master Gardeners. The WVU Extension Master Gardener Program is a volunteer educational program designed to meet the horticultural needs of citizens of West Virginia. Its purpose is to train volunteers and utilize their expertise to teach people more about plants, their culture, and importance in the environment, and to our quality of life. Yes?
People can't hear on Zoom is what Dr. told.
That's because the Zoom's not working.
Oh, okay.
We're recording it and we'll send it out later this week. So we gave up on that. It's just being flat out recorded. We'll upload a YouTube link and email out the YouTube link here shortly. So before the end of the week. It may take us a day or two to actually get it uploaded. So what you see is the policy. So what we are going to do, everyone got a project form. If you are in charge of a project, if you are the chair, then you and your committee need to discuss who's going to fill out a new project form. Several comments we've been hearing are, I didn't vote for this, I'm not interested in doing this, this is a program that we've done in the past, it's not something we want to continue to do. And that's fine, but right now it's on the books. So we are going to reevaluate them, and it's going to become an annual thing. So every program this year is going to be reevaluated, every project. So if you are the chair or a part of that committee, talk with the chair and figure out who's going to fill out that form. It's the same project form that John made up quite a few years ago. I just revised it. We added a few things. Make sure that you fill it out completely. On November 9th, we're going to have a strategic planning session. I have set up with Bill Shockey, who is the ag agent out of Preston County. He has a Master Gardener program, so he's familiar with it. He's been around to kind of make sure that we're keeping everything aligned with what the Master Gardener goals are, and we're going to discuss it. It's going to be a committee. It's going to be, from here on out, it's chaired by the past president. Currently, it's Cindy Barr. So that will continue. With that, we will, whenever they review it, everyone's welcome to sit on the committee. It's not going to be select few. Liz isn't going to pick. Every year there will be a committee sometime after the last Monday in October, which is when, if your project is up for review, it'll be due the last Monday of October. And before the November meeting, there will be a committee meeting. Whoever would like to join is welcome to join. The past president's in charge of setting that up and inviting everyone. They'll go through, as long as it seems like the educational components and everything's complete on the form, it will then be put on a ballot. It'll be handed out. Any questions that need to be asked at the November meeting can be asked, and then it'll be voted on by the membership. When I say it's voted on by the membership, please vote what you feel. Don't say, oh, that's a great project, or I just don't feel like doing it. If you are going to, if it's something you're willing to help with, it doesn't mean you have to show up that day. There's many things with the tomato festival. There's many things with the plant sale and things like that that have to be done ahead of time and even afterwards. If you're willing to help in any capacity, then vote for it. If it's something you don't want anything to do with, then don't vote for it. Because if we're not going to have people to do these things, then we don't need to be taking them on. So, is there any questions with that?
For this year. Our meeting's not till November the 9th, but do you still want this form?
This form is due by the last Monday in October. It's the 25th this year. This year especially, it is due October 25th. There will be a review committee meeting on November 9th. The meeting, the actual meeting will be the following Tuesday, and that's when the membership will vote on it. Anyone from membership is welcome to attend the November 9th meeting. That's why I asked you to put it in your calendar. We don't want to exclude anyone. We don't want anyone to feel like we're pushing anyone out. That's not the point. The point is we want to make sure that if we're doing a project and we say it's a Master Gardener project, the Master Gardeners actually want to do it. So that is the goal.
And it follows the guidelines.
And that it follows the guidelines. Yes. As much important anyway.
Forms come to you.
The forms come to the office, yes. Oh, and part of that, and then the rest of that, towards the end, you will see that we are asking, and it's going to be like anything we do with ours. It's on your honor. But we ask that you guys, whenever we get done with projects, we ask that you participate in 3 every year. That's an hour at Prickett's Fort, an hour at the Tomato Festival, an hour with something. It doesn't matter, but pick at least 3 projects. It's not limited to 3, but pick 3 projects that you're interested in and help. That way it's not, everyone's helping with a little bit of something, at least. And again, it comes down to if you're not willing to help with it, then don't vote for it. There's some more details there as to who, we'll tally the votes at the meeting, and it'll be the past president and along with someone else from the executive board, and we'll let everyone know. It'll be on a 4-year rotating thing, so if it's a new project, it probably needs to be reevaluated again next year, just because it's a new project, see if it went well, see if expectations were met, those types of things. Things like Prickett's Fort, we know that it's going to be continued. Then you can go on a 4-year review and just make sure that we're still meeting those educational pieces. We're still having that partnership, because sometimes we may have that one piece or another, or we may lose a piece, and so are we still hitting that partnership part even if we're not getting the education? That's still a reasonable thing to aspire to, but make sure that we are hitting both at least one of those things. There's 4 here. Educational, fundraiser, a partnership, or even promotion. We had some discussion amongst the executive board that, maybe promotion like the Tomato Festival. Sometimes we do hit the education, sometimes we don't, but it is a great way to get our name out there. So it's definitely under that promotion. And if it does fall under that, then maybe we need to reevaluate still and try to push more on the education or more on something else to kind of include. Partnership, even with the commission, we've kind of picked up that partnership with the commission. So our goal is to be more than one of these things for every project, but we need to at least be one. If we can't fall under at least one, then we really don't need to be doing it as a Master Gardener program. Because again, it kind of falls under, if it doesn't fall under the requirements of the Master Gardener program, then it also doesn't fall under the insurance of WVU either. So something to keep in mind. I ask it on here as well, it's an individual project. If that's the case and it doesn't require a budget, then it can go straight to the office. It doesn't need to be reviewed through the committee. If it's a small committee project, doesn't need a budget, again, it can go straight to the office. You guys are going to take care of it. As long as it's not an indefinite thing, you're going to go do something short term, you send it through the office, the county coordinator will sign off on it, and then you'll go on from there. If it is requiring a budget, whether it's individual or the whole Master Gardeners, then it needs to go through this process. So that November meeting every year, it'll be the date that is presented. So if there is a new project and it's presented in March, there's nothing saying you have to wait till November to present a new project. But then you just put March, approve or denied, and then how many years from now it'll be reviewed on. So this year, 4 years from now is 2025, probably a new project, you don't want to do that, but Prickett's Fort, for instance, you put 2025, the presiding officer. So Liz would sign off on it if she is, Tony if he is. It doesn't matter whoever the presiding officer is, we can look back in the minutes, we know that they signed off on it. And then it goes on to the extension office, because then they still can deny it if for some reason they don't feel that it falls underneath the mandates. But I don't see that happening as long as you guys are willing to participate and it's falling underneath the educational guidelines, which is the point of putting it through the committee in the first place.
So this is the reset year, so all projects
All
need
projects.
to be resubmitted.
All projects need to be resubmitted. If there is not a form to the office by October 25th, that project is being dismissed. We will not be continuing with it. And the thought process behind November is projects should have been wrapped up for the most part, and it's before we really start planning things for the next year. So it's kind of a nice wrap up to all the projects that we've done. And some things have really fallen down to a few people, and if it's supposed to be a Master Gardener project, it doesn't need to be that way. So hopefully this helps remedy some of that. So we are recording the meeting, we'll be uploading it. You also got this emailed to you this evening, right before, as I was leaving the office, I sent it out. So you have a digital copy as well. of these, both. If you need a second form, if you're sitting on a committee, here they are. I will leave these with someone. Meadow will have them if nothing else.
Are they available in Teams?
It is currently in Teams, but I'll have to move it because right now it's in the executive board because we've been working on it.
I
So,
have an unrelated question somewhat.
yes.
I was told when I became secretary that I had to send my minutes to the president to review. Who's supposed to really review those, if anybody?
That's a bylaw question, which should be in your book.
I got one.
Because I'm not sure. So, is there any other questions, comments, thoughts? All
Do you
right.
think we'll have enough projects? Do you think enough people will submit anything?
I think so. I think it's 2 months to get it done and turned in. I think so. So, well, a month and a half.
Well, like since I resigned from the Tomato Festival, who will head up that to fill it in?
So, if no one steps up to be the chair, then it's not a. You have to have a chair to have the festival. So, someone needs to step up. That is something that takes longer than a couple months to plan. So, it's something to think about. That again, another reason why we wanted to be sure to get this out to everyone this evening. All right. Any other thoughts, comments? All right.
Has the Master Gardener programs across the state grown or diminished in the past 5 years?
I don't know. I know that we are on the books. We are one of the larger programs. On the books, we've got about 42 members, I believe. We gained 4 last year that have asked to stay on, but we haven't seen a whole lot of them. Some of them come and help with some stuff, but we don't see them regularly. We gained 2 consistently. Diane Cormick, she's getting ready to retire, so she'll be sticking around, I think, next year. She'll be around a little more, and then Shelby this year. We currently have 2 people taking the class. One of them I have yet to see any paperwork, and the other one turned in her paperwork and says she has no interest in sticking around.
Wow.
So, someone taking the class currently. So,
Bylaws are not in the new manual.
maybe it's just that one. So, no, it's not in the new one because they are passed, but in your folder, because we haven't updated them in a while. So the latest copy I have should be in there.
Okay.
So. All right. With that, I have one more thing to announce. My last day with Marion County Extension will be the 30th of this month. So I've gotten the opportunity to become an agent in training, so I'll get to start working on my master's degree. I'll still be in Extension. I'll be in Doddridge County, so I'm moving to my home county, and we'll be there for the next 4 years at least. So my email address will be the same, so if you need me, I'm still around. But you will, at least temporarily, we'll have Meadow. My job, if you haven't seen it on Facebook, has been posted. So it does close on the 30th as well. If you know anyone that might be interested, the description and everything is on our Facebook page.
Does that mean you're not going to be at the meeting in November?
I am not. Tina will be there. If you read your minutes, it says Tina. So Tina will be there. I'll be talking with Bill, though, beforehand. Meadow and I And Cindy and at least will be talking with him beforehand to kind of review projects before we get to the meeting. If he has any questions on background or anything like that. So. Right.
I'm sad to see you go.
Well, thank you.
That's actually why we had cupcakes. We usually got all whoppers all the time, so I don't know if we need them, but.
So,
So this does not have anything, I would like to just do the minutes and put them on whatever that thing.
On Teams?
Can be done, rather than, be 6 weeks late and then Liz has to hurry up and go through them and then.
Yeah.
I'm just a mess.
If they're on Teams, we can still review them before the meeting and
Right.
then vote to accept the minutes.
yeah,
Yeah, if they're wrong, they're wrong.
yeah,
And you can correct and upload a new one.
yeah.
And there are people who would know, they could look for their details. I can't do that, you know what I mean?
But it looks right.
Right.
Cindy Barr was the best for she would, and you know who, Karen Morris Taylor.
Yeah, but I don't find the errors. I mean, that's, when I read the paper, it drives me nuts because I think they put VT won that game. You read that on the sports. But, you know, sometimes I think people are just like not the it's just something, it's wrong. It's like a red flag. Doesn't make sense. So, it was never the substance of it, Cindy. Not the substance of what you wrote. It's, you forgot to capitalize. You know, it was kind of.
Commas and things like that.
Right. And I don't think in years past, they ever had to do that. I think someone wanted to do it at the time to make sure they had, right. You do such a good job with them.
Well,
In
you
the
know what I
past,
mean?
it was
By
hard
now, you know, I'm not gonna let my, undertone smart ass comments get into the minutes.
Oh, come on, give us a few.
But sometimes, you know, in the past, they did maybe get everything down, and I think they asked for someone to review it just before it went out, but I don't think that's in
Yeah,
our,
that's what it was.
I don't think it's in our bylaws or anything.
I don't see anything.
I know, I remember when like Sally was still hearing that, they said, you have to give it to the president to read it before you send it out or something like that. And, you know, it wasn't in.
It's not written down.
No, but it's something I guess that they wanted to do at that time, so, you know, that was fine. We don't need to do it now, we don't need to do it.
Be free, just post it.
And I have a very old canceled check, can I just give it back to you
Can
so
I
I
ask
can
you
like
about
pretend
the
like it's not in my name
semi-retirement?
for 6 months?
It says that you don't
It's
have to
from,
do volunteer hours, but you
Jane
can
and
if
the
you want
heat
to.
lamp or
Is
something?
that
Yes,
right?
yes, you would still, under semi-retired, you are still covered under WVU insurance, therefore you can still participate in anything you would like to participate in.
So do you
You're
still
just not
keep track of?
You do still, because you have to, you don't need to keep track of your volunteer hours, you do have to have at least 6 educational hours.
But if you want to keep track of your volunteer hours.
You're more than welcome to. I would encourage you to still keep track of them because we do turn those in. We use the volunteer database and then we turn that in to turn, you know, in-kind service to the commission numbers. Mira always likes to know so that she has it for her grants and things like that that she writes. So it would still be greatly appreciated if you would still track at least a ballpark and turn those in. So again, I reiterate, please sooner than later get into Teams. So I'll be around for a while to help, but I am gone next Thursday, so,
September.
yes.
So when you put some of us on to start with, and I have been on it, but not doing a whole lot on it, am I still okay to sign on?
You're in there. If you have been in it, then you're in it. You're fine.
So I don't need to come back?
No.
Then. Okay.
If I put you in, like, I don't know if I ever got Jill in or not, but she's the one that I learned that you have to go back and take them out and then put them back in, and
Okay.
it's rigorous. So that's why I didn't want to just throw everyone in at once. The 13 or whatever I put in there to start with was enough to,
Okay.
especially if it's going to be following the meadow somewhat, so.
So once you are gone and we call the office and we're looking for Eva, we're now asking for Meadow, is that correct?
Do we have Meadows?
Or
email
Tina,
address?
or,
Tina will be the county coordinator for now. Meadow probably has a little more background. And Meadow and I have been talking a lot. And then if you really do have a question, feel free to email me and I'll do my best to try to answer you too. So
Is Diana back?
Diana is back. So she's been cleaning out a lot of stuff.
Okay.
She's back.
Okay.
And the best way to get Meadow is the phone number, if we needed to talk to him.
Yeah, or my email's better too, because I'm not in the office all the time.
MLR
MLR
0052
0052
at mix
at what?
mix
MIC?
mix mix.wvu.edu. She's still a student, so she still has the student email address.
MIX.
M.
And mix the cake, mix the bag. MLR 0052 at mix.wvu.edu.
WVU.edu.
Yep.
So they've gone to initials and numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
My kids all had their names.
Yeah, mine
Added
was my
to.
name.
Yeah.
Well, it's still my username. It's still eMaxwell is my username. I've been married for 16 and a half years.
And it's still an active account, right?
Yeah, well, not my mix. They switched
No.
it, but my username stayed the same.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, anything else? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn, or second it.
I make a motion. Okay. All right.